I've been wanting this build for a long time, so I decided I don't know how I came across it. I was in a stream and was like, huh, this actually does this. So I spent a little time kind of messing with it to figure out what's the most optimal way to run it. And I've noticed because we're not going to be focusing on her defense like a whole lot, it's more focused on the pull and managing her power and stuff like that. Yeah, that's going to be kind of the idea of the build. But I've been like, I came to this game, I think from DCU. I came back to this game from DCU, I should say, and I always liked pulling in MMOs. So if you guys have played any of these type of games, or Warcraft, so on and so forth, and you're the one that gets the aggro, then you might recall doing stuff like this. Where you would pull the enemies in and then your DPS would take care of the rest. Like, that's kind of the beauty behind what this is supposed to be. So if you notice, the range isn't as far as, obviously it's not as far as I would like. If I could hit a 500 range, that would be great. Once again, it's not really focused too much on her defense, which you can do that, but I think focusing on the defense takes away from the pull mechanic itself, which is kind of like, it kind of sucks that it has to be that way, but that's just kind of the way it is. So let me show the build and then we'll put it into a little bit more of a practical setting again. And I actually want to take it to the Veil because it surprisingly works pretty good as an engineer. This is actually, I'm gonna run this build as an engineer more often than normal. So with Valkyr, this is the build. So we're dealing with Blind Rage. I guess I'll just go over the stat. Hey, how's it going? So I guess I'll go over the stats more so than anything. And then I'll talk about like 2 mods. You probably can already see them. So the stats, I guess let me talk about the mod first. So this is the augment mod we're using. It pulls enemies in, right? The stun, I'm not so worried about the stun, but it's nice having the stun. Particularly in DCUO. And I'm sorry about that. DCUO and some other games where you do like a pull. The pull is usually double with some type of stun or some type of CC, right? So cool, we got that. As far as the stats, we have our duration at 130. This is really just to make it to where the 4th ability is manageable as far as the power drain on it. And I'll get into why in a second. The efficiency, not too much we could do about the efficiency because the focus is prolonged paralysis. We actually want to maximize our range, and we want to, we kind of do have to have a lot of strength. The reason why we need a lot of strength is because that controls the force of the pull. If I reduce the amount of strength, the pull is not really going to be like a solid pull. It's going to pull them in like a little bit. So the more power strength, the better. You can technically switch natural talent out for a stretch if you want, but even with that, you're only gaining like 3, maybe 4.5 like range. So I mean, but you can put kind of anything you want there. I guess that range would work. It's totally up to you. You can do what you want. I got Prime Flow on predominantly because I have quick thinking on. Here is why though. So I just kind of want to paint a picture. So let's say I got Steel Fiber and I got Adaptation and I got all the tanky stuff, right? I'm gonna have to redo this build anyway. But let's say I got all the tanky stuff. So Health, Adaptation, Steel Fiber, I got Arcane Guardian, where you at? Got Arcane Guardian. Probably not gonna be using Tanker because it's only 12 seconds, but let's say you got a situation like this. Well, if you're going up against anybody in the Veil, which let's just say this is like 90 or whatever, let's say 80, right? So you're up at 80, you go into a cruise ship or you go anywhere and you pull up maybe, I don't know, 2 of these guys, right? Well, it's gonna help, but they still hit really hard. Right, so it's not really gonna make that big of a difference. You know what I'm saying? So I just opted, well, if I'm getting shot that much and that fast, and that's quick thinking that saved me. That wasn't anything else. I mean, it was everything else, but that's like a lot of mod slots you got to take up just for that. Right? So I had to use Steel Fiber and Vitality and Adaptation and Quick Thinking and Arcane Guardian just to survive 2 of those guys at level 80, right? Well, that doesn't make sense to me. Why don't I just go in free balls and just say, forget it, I'm just gonna not get killed, period. Right? And just do something like this. And then I can, oops. I keep forgetting you gotta have your melee out. That was totally my fault. I'm gonna do that, take my melee out, and then I'll just CC from here. Boop. Because that thing's cheap anyway. Then I can turn it off and do whatever I need to do. Right, so let's get back to the build. I'm still getting used to it because there's a playstyle that kind of comes with it. Anyway, prop continuity, like I said, is to help with that. And then, of course, range is range and then strength to strength, right? So we get all that good stuff. The reason why I had natural talent on here is only for corrective reasonings because I'm using it early. So in using the build real early, you know, I'll need to be able to turn on and off this power relatively quick. You know, just in case I make a mistake as I get used to it. You know, so I think if the only thing I need to do for the most part, or that I would recommend, is where are they at? The exos. There we go. Is when you're going into a situation like this, make sure you're in your melee only before going out there, because when you aim glide, it's going to put your gun on. Right? So if you go out there now, you're not going to have to worry about getting hit or anything. I think that's really kind of it, because it's easy to aim glide and accidentally go into your gun, which removes your invincibility, which kind of defeats the purpose of having this active, right? But yeah, it's kind of a throwback to that. I've been wanting this build for a while because when I'm on the ship, I've been noticing there's an issue with me having to deal with these guys or trying to round them up. So whereas if I can just round them up, right, then I can deal with them however I want to deal with them. So let's say these are a bunch of guys on the ship. I'd come out here, round them up, take that off, and then go to town. Maybe there's an extra one, I don't know. Oh, right. Right, so I'm gonna be playing with this and maybe showcasing it sometime later today. How it operates in the Veil. I used it last night. It's not optimal. I'm gonna just tell you straight up, it's not optimal because they hit really hard, but it's definitely fun and it definitely gets the job done really fast. Particularly because you have a lot of power straight. Now I don't really have my situation like set up with my claws, but if you do have your claws like modded and like they're pretty good or whatever, then this might be a real good one for you, because then you never actually have to come out of this. And because that pull is so cheap, like it's so inexpensive to actually use, this right here should kill them. But the main thing is just the whole idea that you're actually pulling them. But yeah, I just missed the tanking days. I missed doing that kind of stuff. I always thought it was really fun and really cool. Healing is super easy in this game, so that's not an issue. DPSing is really good, easy in this game. Even crowd control is relatively easy. It's the tanking, like having a tank, like I'm a tank. I think that's the only thing that this game's kind of missing. If so, it's not now, in my opinion, now with Valkyr, and it never really was needed. But I thought it's just really cool to just throw out there. It's more of a fun type of thing. So I'm gonna be running. This is gonna be my main Valkyr situation. This last little tidbit, if you notice, I have 50 efficiency, yeah, this makes a humongous difference. And even still, you can actually switch that out for something like this and add more duration. I don't recommend doing it through this because it's going to reduce your range. I do actually recommend doing it through something like, I want to say it's Augur Message. I'm just going to type DUR for duration. But you probably want to add like Constitution or Augur Message or something like that if you wanted to add more range. You could do that as well. You can also add stretch, so on and so forth. But I mean, for duration, I would do like those guys. And what all that's going to do is help your fourth last longer if you wanted to go with something like that. So we could do something like this. Now it's 2.37, but 2.37 is not too far off from 2.88. So, you know, I figured this was more my speed, just for the fact that I don't have to wait for that whole cast to go. Or you can do this one as well. It's totally up to you. Warcry's duration is increased by 2 seconds for each kill. You can do that too if you want. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, just throwing an idea out there. If anybody has some more optimal ways you'd like to do this, maybe switching this out for something, maybe anything that can keep you alive. Really, I think the only thing that's missing, and this is, I guess, going to be a reach to you guys, is if there's a way to survive, like let's say just 4 of these guys. Because there's usually at least like 4. There's at least 2, but let's just say 4 to compensate for the other DPS that might be on your ship at the time when you're engineering. If there's a way to survive that, like without quick thinking, I guess. If there's a way to get your armor and stuff like that good enough to where you can survive that, then I think we'll be okay. This is full of these guys. You come this way. Nope, come back. So yeah, so survive that without quick thinking. Well, you gotta have a maxed out one, but yeah. Whoa. You can do that too, I know, but it's not as fun as doing it with Valkyr. I really like that. So anyway, I hope this helps, I guess. You know, I hope this is something that could work for you guys. If you want a Hydron build, just basically just reduce the pull like radius to like 9 meters. 20 meters is a little too much for Hydron. You do want to do 9 meters because of the corners and stuff like that. Anyways, this is CS with DWP. Definitely gonna be working on this, seeing if I can get that range higher, and I'll see what we can do from there. Anyway, if you liked it, go ahead and like, and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, go ahead and just hit the dislike. Let me know what you didn't like about it, and I'll see if I can make some adjustments. Other than that, you guys take it easy. Happy gaming. Good luck in the Veil, and take care and peace out of 5,000.